Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair agalle ni how much una shumme washmale ohio gonzaimas guten morgen privet and hi hugs and hellos to everybody who's tuned into World this morning and PT World obviously at the same time. You guys are, with Shazad Khan and then, I've got a very dear friend Iram over here as well. Iram, how are you? Happy Friday.
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Happy Friday to you as well. Looking forward to the weekend.
Well, that's great. I mean, where's the energy? Come on, wake up. Time to rise and shine.
This marks my one whole week.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
How's the feedback so far?
It's been wonderful. It's been great. It's been wonderful.
And what about your own experience so far for a week?
So far, it's been great. Like I said, I really enjoyed working here. I enjoyed the camaraderie between the team. You've been very helpful.
Thank you.
The producers have been very, very helpful. Everybody has gone out of their way to make sure.
And you have been doing great as well.
Thank you.
So, okay, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, few top stories for the day. And, let me just start with this one. Okay, so the statement comes by the Prime Minister Mia Mohammed Nawaz Sharif, quoting the newspaper, regional peace depends on solution to Kashmir, which is quite true in fact. And then talking about Panama leaks, I think they say that decisions are not made on assumptions, and that's the statement made by the Supreme Court as well. But there's one very good news, and I think that we should share it with all of those people. Let me just move on to the entertainment side. Lahoti Melo 2017 schedule announced. Now I'm going to read it a bit as well. The second edition of Lahoti Melo 2017 is coming back later this weekend in Hyderabad. Okay, so for all those people who are in Hyderabad or probably in the surrounded areas in Sain, I think this is something you need to check out with because they've got musicians, storytellers, poets, journalists, and other notable speakers, performers. It's going to be a 2-day event. It's over the weekend. Obviously, it's going to be Saturday and Sunday. And then, moving on to what we're doing today.
Yes.
And it's very unfortunate of us as Pakistanis and to say that, we still have a disease like polio in our country. And then one of the neighboring countries, Afghanistan, we are the only two countries on the globe right now where polio still exists, and we're very hopeful, we're very positive that, somewhere in the middle of 2017, we will eradicate polio. But then this news comes out and it says extra efforts needed to keep Islamabad polio free. Now, we'll definitely check up on, what type of extra efforts do we really have to make. But for that particular reason, we have been joined by some wonderful guests. They're very positive, already smiling. And they were already all over the studio taking pictures, memories. Yeah, go ahead.
They are smiling because they actually have great news to share with us. So to my right, we have Dr. Rana Mohammed Safta. He's coordinator for National Emergency Operations Center for Polio Eradication. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And then to his right, we have Dr. Hassan Arush. He's Director General, Health Services Islamabad CDA for Islamabad. So thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you both here.
Thank you for
How do you guys feel to be up early in the morning as well and being in the studio right away?
They're usually.
It's a daily practice actually.
Yeah. So no, the only difference is that you're in the studio with us. That's what it is.
Right.
Okay, so I think we'll start the conversation with this news. We know that there are only probably 19 to 20 cases left of polio. Registered cases, I think that's what I know. But it is very unfortunate of us that we are still fighting against such a viral disease as well. Now, when they say that extra efforts needs to be made within Islamabad, first of all, what do we really mean by that? Whoever wants to answer.
I think before we go there, can we have a national perspective and a global perspective, and where do we stand? And if you want, I can respond to that.
Yeah, first of all, I think what we can do is we can respond to Islamabad first.
Okay.
The headquarters.
Right. So the essence of the news is the Islamabad is polio-free for more than 10 years now.
Yeah.
That is the good news and the positive news. And also, there are 3 indicators which actually reflect the polio-free status. One is no polio case.
Okay.
The other is the environmental sample. The sewage sample is taken and tested for polio virus because the children excrete polio virus in their stools, and the sample is taken and tested. That is also negative. And also the quality of the campaigns and where do we stand as compared to the previous years.
Yeah.
Islamabad is polio-free, as I said, for more than 10 years now. But giving the geographical location, because of the migrants, because of the population movements, Islamabad is one of the cities where we have the highest growth rate.
Yeah.
People from all over the country, they travel to Islamabad, they move to Islamabad, even if they're going from Fatah to Karachi, their first station is Islamabad. So there's a high chance that their children who might not be vaccinated in other places bring virus, because viruses don't have boundaries.
Yeah.
So a couple of areas in Islamabad have been declared as high risk because of these movements.
Okay.
So we need some extra efforts, which means good micro-planning, good team trainings, selection of teams, and good campaigns, polio campaigns. So there we go as far as this news is concerned.
Very nice. Now we can move on about the plan. We can talk about that. How are we focusing on it? Because you even had a meeting with the Prime Minister himself as well. So what happened?
Yes. I think first of all, let's start today, Friday morning, with a very good news.
Wow. Go ahead.
And primarily to share that, I would just like to share where we are today with reference to polio eradication in Pakistan. So primarily in 2014, as many of the colleagues would be knowing, we were really struggling. The virus was moving all around. It was paralyzing our children, and it could just paralyze and even kill almost 306 of our very young children, unfortunately, during that year. But that was the time when the entire polio eradication team, meaning thereby the government of Pakistan, the entire partnership, they sat together and they decided to tackle this challenge head on. So we came up with a new revised working methodology, and primarily it's a one team concept, which is being executed at the emergency operation centers.
In 2014?
Early 2015, actually, in January 2015. So we established 5 emergency operation centers. The national one is here in Islamabad, and then we have 4 in 4 provincial headquarters and 1 in Fatah. And we have a dedicated government leadership, and then the entire partnership of all international agencies which are supporting our efforts in Pakistan, their leads, they also operate from the same platform. So it's now joint planning, coordination, implementation, and monitoring.
Amazing.
And then we also decided to actually run our program purely on scientific basis. So we also became a data-driven program. So we were able, within actually a very short span of time, we were able to come up with a mechanism wherein the data for a particular campaign is going to come to us by the end of the same day.
Wow.
And so our team will have a look on it, and based on whatever challenges are, early next morning we will start working on these challenges. So this is this revised working methodology really helped us. We were able to curtail the number of polio cases in 2015 to 54 only, more than 80% decline. Then in the 16, we continued that momentum, and we have ended this year at the overall number of 20. So this is again more than 2/3 almost.
And this number, and this number cannot rise or something of that sort, because you're getting that data. We might have left somebody out as well.
As a matter of fact, primarily our one part of our effort is in improving our programmatic performance on the ground. Then simultaneously and the similar amount of effort is going actually into the surveillance as well. And as Dr. Uruj was just mentioning, besides looking this virus in the human beings, we are also very vigilantly monitoring the presence of virus in the sewerage samples of all across Pakistan. Right now, again, I feel proud to report that Pakistan at this point in time has 53 environmental surveillance sites.
Great.
This is the largest ever surveillance network established in any country in the world. So absolutely no chance of missing the virus at this point in time.
And I have to say, I was talking to Rana Saab earlier, Shahzad, you were not there in the room at that time, but I actually got to witness the vigilance and the surveillance. It had just been 2 weeks when I arrived, and I was in my apartment. It was just me and my maid, and their team came they knocked on my door, they checked, and they asked me if I had any children. I told them yes, but they live in the US. and they wanted to know when are they coming back, are they visiting?
And that was Islamabad team.
That was Islamabad, and I
Absolutely,
said,
absolutely.
no, I really hadn't ever experienced that before. And then once they established that, okay, her children don't live here, they're over the ages of 5, then they continue to ask me, do you have any servants at home? Do they have children? Can we talk to them? Can we question them about their children? I was so impressed.
Did
It
they
was
ask
really
about your
impressive.
guests, any guests
Yes,
visiting
they
your
did.
house?
Yes, they did.
So-
They did ask me if I had any guests
So
visiting.
no chance should be left for any child to not to be vaccinated.
Yes.
Servants, children, when your children are coming back,
Yes.
and also when you go back to US, you have to take some polio drops.
Yourself as well.
Yes, I know. I took them last time at the airport.
Right.
They made me take them. It was quite
And
interesting.
I think that's necessary as well. But then, moving on with what we were talking about, the meeting you had with the Prime Minister of Pakistan as well, I hope that you have shared this good news with him too. So tell us about that meeting, and then what is his focal point on polio eradication?
Yeah. Again, the leadership to the polio eradication program is being provided by the Prime Minister himself.
Yeah.
We have a national task force which is headed by Honorable Prime Minister, and then we have all our provincial chief ministers, Governor of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, our Prime Minister of Azad Jammu and Kashmir. We have also a representative from armed forces. So it's a very high level meeting which really there not only to guide us but also to support us in the implementation of this program.
Amazing that is. I'm sorry that I'm stopping you over here, but then there's one very important thing which I think I need to ask, and that is that, since 1974, this polio eradication plan is there on the papers. And then in 1990s, I think we started taking action as well. We as a member of society have a role to play as well. I mean, for example, if the polio team's coming, if, you had your kids around, obviously you'll make them have them as well, right? Iram, that's how it is.
Yes.
So what do you think probably hindered all of these polio eradication programs that we're still here talking about these 20 cases left in 2017 as well, where in the entire globe, it's just Afghanistan and us. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is our fault as well. I mean, members of society have to play a role who create the social fabric as well. How can we spread that awareness? Because we do have certain areas where there are stigmas and taboos attached to having polio vaccines.
Yes.
Absolutely, Shadar. Actually, you are spot on, and I would like to primarily mention 2 key challenges why we have not been able to eradicate polio from our land as yet. One and the most important one was unfortunately the militancy and the security situation arising out of because of that, and till mid of 2014, unfortunately, we were unable to access well over 600,000 children in Pakistan. And normally when we talk of inaccessibility, the first thing comes to our mind is we start thinking only about FATA. But in actuality, that was not the case. In FATA, we were missing something like 270,000 children, primarily in North Waziristan, Khyber Agency in South Waziristan. Then almost a similar number and even greater was being missed in some of the highest risk union councils in Karachi. Similarly, approximately 18,000 children were being missed at the borders of Peshawar and Bata and Bada itself. So this inaccessibility to these children actually was allowing the virus to survive in these nurseries of the viruses. And as we know that culturally and traditionally, we love traveling. We love going to our relatives. So we are a highly mobile population as well. So our population from these nurseries were carrying the viruses to all across Pakistan, and that's how we kept on struggling.
Okay.
And then when there was a very bold decision was taken at the highest government level to tackle this militancy head on through Operation Zarb-e-Azb, that really helped us.
Yes.
So we got access to all these children, and then programmatically we try to do our level best to reach each and every child during each campaign.
Wow.
So that's one aspect which was there when we have even to cover that. The other one, again, you have very rightly mentioned, is about the kind of misconception, the negative
The
propaganda
myths,
coming
yeah.
again and again about the vaccines. Unfortunately, the people who are behind this propaganda, they know that this vaccine is the safest of all vaccines, all medicines that today we have in the medical sciences. But they are doing it for their personal gains, for some kind of personal motives. So that's the key message that I would like to give to our Pakistanis today.
Look into their eyes.
Let me assure you that the vaccine that we are getting for your children comes from the best manufacturer in the world. We only procure that vaccine from those sources which are WHO accredited. And for that, there's a very vigilant mechanism for a manufacturer to stay within that list of the WHO accredited manufacturers.
Wow.
And then this vaccine, if we just go have a look on the statistics, up till now more than 10 billion doses of OPV have been administered to more than 2.5 billion children. There have not been even a single instance of a death or RSV, any kind of serious reaction from this. So it is the safest vaccine that we have. In the context of the quality of its cold chain maintenance, we are maintaining the highest levels of vigilance, and right from the manufacturer till it arrives in Pakistan, and then from at the central level when it goes to the most peripheral level at the Union Council. And here I would also like to share with all the parents that on each and every vial of this vaccine, we have a small color spot, which is a darker from outside, dark
tell us
blue.
about that.
Yeah, and in the middle there is a lighter color. And anybody could just, while administering the child to that vaccine, can have a look on that vial. If you can differentiate between those two colors, that vaccine is perfectly safe. It has been well kept,
So it's
well
two
stored.
circles right on the bottle or on tip of it. Where are those two circles?
Yeah,
those
it's
spots?
actually in the middle part of
yeah.
the vial itself. It's a circle, and then you have in between there's a small spot which is of lighter color.
Okay.
So till the time that those two colors don't match, that vaccine is perfect.
That's
Thank
without,
you very
I
much for
mean,
telling
that's
us
not
that.
expired.
Yeah.
I would just add to what Dr. Rana has said. As you have just mentioned that the vaccine campaign started in 1974. So when I was a child, the evidence of the quality of the vaccines and the misconceptions could be eradicated by
That you
this
have made
fact.
it.
Where, I mean, people say that this is a family planning and there are taboos and misconceptions attached to that. I think we should be very clear in saying that when I was a child, I got the vaccine. Now I'm father of three children.
And they're having the same vaccine as well.
Exactly.
That's what it
Yes,
is,
oh,
right?
yes.
And the other evidence is that in the United States, the same vaccine was used in 1960s, where there was an epidemic sort of situation in 60s for polio, and then it has drastically dropped. The same quality of vaccine which is used in Pakistan is used elsewhere.
All right.
And responding to your first thing, I think the parents have their responsibility as well.
Exactly.
I mean, it is very important for the government to provide service at the doorstep. But on the other side, I think equal responsibility lies with the parents who are responsible for their children to get vaccination for polio and all other vaccinations which are due till 5 years of age. Because in certain countries, the children cannot get admission in the schools, or the parents could be charged or could be issued a
they're
ticket, for
vaccinated.
example,
Yes.
if their children are not vaccinated.
I mean, why do we still have to, go to PIMS and get our polio vaccines into our mouth and then get a card made and then only we can travel abroad as well? That's something which is going on as well, and it's mandatory. You get this yellow card. I mean, in Islamabad, we have to go to PIMS, get the vaccine, and then just drink it, whatever drops amount, and then they'll give you a card that you have had this vaccine, and only then you can travel abroad as well. Now, I think this is one of the very focal points of today's conversation as well. What are we doing in terms of people coming from abroad as well, from other countries, from countries where, I mean, obviously it's only Afghanistan left now, and we know that we've got quite a lot of population of Afghanis over here in our country, in terms of refugees and in terms of any other means. But then, are we making any or taking any strict actions against that as well? That, how are we going to stop it from across the border?
For example, in Islamabad, if I could just, and then you can tell about the in Islamabad, for example, what we do is that once they come during the campaigns, because these campaigns are going every month, so our teams are knocking doors of each and every house. So if they are staying in Islamabad, so they get their children vaccinated, they themselves, and when they are leaving Islamabad, even if it is an adult or a children, they have to get these polio vaccines, otherwise they will be checked in the airports where they are landing, and probably they will be in trouble. So this is one of the efforts that we are doing for foreigners here.
And like I said, I have experienced that myself and my daughters too.
Right.
We had to take the drops at the airport. They wouldn't let us board the plane.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me that they have not been asked in the landing airport, but having said that, they could ask anytime.
All right.
So please do get your travel vaccination card before leaving the country, because not asking is their privilege, but you should get what the policy says.
Okay, honestly, the masses do travel by aeroplanes, and we do have to go visit airports as well. But other than that, the side I'm talking about, they really do not use this means of transport as well. I mean, all they do is probably sit in a truck, come and land at this border. That's what it is. So why can't we just build up like a post or polio post or right across to the Afghanistan's border as well, and then whoever's coming in.
Please don't say you want to build a wall.
No,
Just
no,
don't
I'm
say
not
that.
saying
We're
that.
not building a wall, please.
Well, at least a fence then.
You'll build a wall against the
The
virus.
fence is there.
Shahzad, actually, here I would like to mention and share that these polio eradication efforts, they are going on in all the countries in the world. So this polio vaccine, it's being utilized by all, it's still being used by all those countries who eradicated this disease 20 years ago. And they will continue doing so till the time the virus is completely eradicated from the globe. So that's the idea. So about this vaccination of the international travelers, we are doing it as a very responsible member of the international community, because we know that this virus is right now present on the surface of 3 countries. You mentioned Pakistan and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, Nigeria also again got
It's a
rebounded.
relapse?
Yeah. After staying 2 years polio free, unfortunately, they diagnosed quite a few cases from there, which were hidden because of poor surveillance. So this effort that we are doing is because of the fact that we are serious in containment of the virus where it is and kill it over here. Right now, virus is actually fighting for its survival. And at the end of last low transmission season, by mid 2015, it was able to merely survive. And here we also conducted a very critical analysis of our own selves to find out where it has been able to survive. So primarily, there are 2 kind of children who are still allowing the virus to stay. One are those very young children of less than 6 months of age, which at the time when our teams visit and then knock at the doors, the kids are sleeping, and their mothers and their parents, unfortunately, they don't bring that young kid to the doorstep to get the child vaccinated. And so that's the one chunk. The other chunk is this high risk mobile population, and right now, because of the huge issue of inaccessibility across the border in Afghanistan, as again you have very rightly mentioned, there's quite a significant number of people over there who are not being in the access, who are not in the access of their program, and unfortunately our colleagues over there, they are not able to repeatedly vaccinate them. So to mitigate this particular risk, we have our permanent transit points right now on these international borders with Afghanistan. We also have these transit points established at the interprovincial border, and also around 3 core reservoirs where we think that virus is still present. One is the mega city of Karachi, because of huge population movement, the risk is there. The other is Quetta block, where in Quetta, Pishin and Khila Abdullah, again because of huge population movement, not only from other parts of the province, but also from Afghanistan, we carry this risk. The third one is the Khyber Peshawar in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So around this, we are also using this strategy. In a given year, we vaccinate about 20 million children through this particular effort. And on the Pakistan and Afghanistan border, we are vaccinating all kids up to the age of 10, just to minimize the risk.
So the efforts are there.
Yeah.
I think
Rana
that's
Saab,
fantastic.
I wanted to ask you another question. If you could tell us some of the early symptoms of the disease, and is it too late if the symptoms begin to present themselves? Is it too late by then to actually take the vaccine?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one thing that we must keep in mind, and that's why we are striving that hard to eradicate this disease, is that it is a disease which can only be prevented, and it cannot be cured. So once your child is infected, uh, first of all, out of 200 infected children, only one is going to get the paralysis. Rest will get the minor symptoms. They will have fever, sore throat, and then the symptoms will fade away without causing any paralysis. But it's because of the fact that it's a disease which is eradicable. The entire international community is striving to really save
Prevention
our
is the best
future.
cure, yeah.
Absolutely. And here I think again one of the things where we all as part of this global community can take pride. All the efforts that we have been doing since 1970s, we have been able to prevent more than 15 million paralysis and deaths of young children. And this number in Pakistan, actually before the start of polio eradication efforts in early 1990s, in Pakistan we used to get 20,000 children paralyzed, and so few of them, of course, dying because of that. So whatever we have been able to achieve, bringing down that number from 20,000 to only 20 today is in itself a great success.
Amazing that is. The
Amazing.
direction's right and the pace is right too. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, the pace of the show will keep on going and we'll pick it up as well, because when we come back, I think we particularly need to know about the virus itself. And then once, inshallah, we have eradicated this disease from our country, what measures do we need to take so that there's not a relapse again? I think that's what we're going to ask. But after a very short break, don't go anywhere. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to World This Morning. We are talking about a very important subject today, which is polio, and we have just received some wonderful news that polio is about to be eradicated from Pakistan, hopefully within the next 4 months, which is just absolutely wonderful news, very exciting. and we're making great progress here. And a couple of questions that we still want to ask, perhaps Dr. Ruj, you can answer those, is let's talk about first defining exactly what the polio virus is. And let's say we are, inshallah, able to eradicate the disease by May, as we're hoping. How long do we need to stay polio-free in order to say, yes, Pakistan is now completely eradicated the disease?
So first commenting about the polio virus, let me tell you a bit of the history. It's not a new virus. Historically, it can be traced back 6,000 years back.
Wow.
And even some of the paintings and some of the sculptures in the past, they have shown paralyzed children. And they mimic the paralysis of polio, which we could see nowadays. The important thing is that Sakin and Sepkin, two scientists, they invented this vaccine, which is actually a miracle, because this vaccine is the difference. These 2 drops are the difference between having polio or not having polio. This is very clear. Such an effective vaccine was discovered. As regards the symptoms, there are 3 types of polio disease. One is the most debilitating is the spinal one, which paralyzes the
That's
child.
the chronic one.
That is the chronic one. Well, as Dr. Rana has already mentioned, once polio occurs, it cannot be reversed. So the only thing is prevention. And we have a vaccine.
Those 2 drops.
We have a vaccine. About 50 years back, this vaccine was not there on earth. So polio, so you cannot prevent that. So we are lucky to be born in this era, and all children, they can get these vaccines and make a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Because polio is not just a disability of the child. The entire family gets involved.
Of course.
And for the entire years of age of that child. So one is the bulbar, other is the respiratory. It can affect the respiratory muscles as well.
Okay.
It affects the lower limbs and bring paralysis of the lower limbs and forever. The polio virus is actually, the incubation period is from a couple of days to 6 weeks.
Okay.
But the important thing is that it excretes into the stools of the infected child. And once it excretes into the stools, it has the capability of infecting other children, almost 200 children around it. So hygienic conditions are very important. Washing hands, good hygienic conditions. How it is spread is through orofecal route by feces. If somebody, if a mother cleans the child and doesn't wash hand, and with the same hand she's treating another child, and that
She
child
can
is
spread it then,
infective.
yeah.
So there's a high probability of spread of poliovirus from the infected child to the uninfected child.
And even in our rural areas, we do have this concept of open defecation. Too,
That's
so I think
right.
we need to work on it.
Very right.
Yep.
Malnutrition, open defecation, and that is why I say poor sanitary conditions are the most important. That is why I say another thing, that virus doesn't have boundaries. It doesn't see rich and poor.
Yeah.
Because most of these mice and servants, they work in the rich people's home. And the virus doesn't say the wealth or the quintiles of that. And you see, and if they are not clean, if they are not hygienically alert and aware, the virus could be spread. So these are 3 types of...
and who gets affected? Okay, for example, somebody who's not got the vaccine, that's fine. But at what age can you certainly get polio as well? Is it just when you're 5 years old, or you can get it any time in your life?
Actually, the probability of getting the polio disease is mostly up to the age of 5 years.
Okay. So we're cool. We're cool.
But you could be a carrier.
I'll get myself
the
tested.
virus doesn't affect you,
Okay.
but you can take the virus. That is why all those travelers who are even adults, they go abroad, they are vaccinated.
Could you be a carrier? Are you carrying it in your blood, or are you carrying it on, like if you were in contact with a...
When you are in contact, it goes to the stomach.
Okay.
And then it is excreted in the stools. So one is a carrier through, it is through orofecal, and from feces, from stools to oral
it.
ingestion. And it is then absorbed and...
So it's in the air.
Yeah.
It's just like love. I think that's what it is.
Which we have already eradicated.
Yeah, but what about now?
We've
What,
eradicated love.
yeah, but what about how to stop the relapse of it once, inshallah, in these coming 4 months? That's a wonderful news that we got early in the morning as well.
Yeah.
After these 4 months, what will be your plan of action, and how do you think that you guys will make sure that it's not going to come back to Pakistan
I think
ever,
Dr.
ever
Rana
again?
would be in a better position to elaborate more. I would just say three things of very intense campaigns. No child should be left without polio vaccination from the governmental side, and the parents should get a very clear message. It's a matter of life of the child. Then awareness, which I think our international partners like UNICEF, WHO are playing excellent role. They are in partnership with us. Awareness creation. And then I think a follow-up would be very important.
One little request, Dr. Saab, and that is that, if you could say it again, but in Urdu, so that, everybody can understand what we are trying to say, because we're trying to emphasize the, the value it carries.
जो माँ बाप के लिए इस वक्त मैसेज है वो ये कि अपने बच्चे को पोलियो के कतरे ज़रूर डलवाएं। हर महीने पोलियो मुहिम हो रही है, इससे ना घबराएं। यही पोलियो के कतरे ज़िंदगी को तब्दील करके रख देंगे, क्योंकि खुदा ना करे अगर ये 2 पोलियो के कतरे ना गए, पोलियो वायरस अटैक किया, तो बच्चे को फालिज पड़ सकता है और इसके बारे में किसी किस्म के इब्हाम और गलतफहमी का शिकार ना हो। और बाकी तो हम साथ दे रहे हैं। हमारी टीमें अगर किसी वजह से लेट हो जाएं या ना पहुंच सकें, तो खुद फोन करके कहें कि हमारे बच्चे को, बहुत सारे टेलीफोन्स आते हैं।
You can even share the number.
Right. The number is, for example, in Islamabad, the number is 926-7580. मैं रिपीट करता हूँ, 926-7580. So I'm available. मैं अपना नंबर देने को तैयार हो जाता हूँ, and I don't feel
It's perfectly
bothered.
all right. Love's still in the air. Yeah, now let's talk about the relapse.
Yeah, so on the other part of your question, as we are just discussing, that although we are quite close, but we have not made it as yet. So our ultimately we will only celebrate when we achieve that 0.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, once we achieve that 0, our success is also determined 1 year afterwards. Because for at least 1 year period, if despite maintaining the highest surveillance that alhamdulillah we are doing at this point in time, if there is no polio case and if this virus is not detected in any of these environmental samples, then we will consider ourselves as polio free. And then we will maintain this status for another 2 years. And after that, we will be eligible to be listed as a country having eradicated polio. So it's a lot of effort, and here I think we will need support from everybody. Every Pakistani should take it as a national duty, because you can very well imagine when the disease will not be there, when the virus will not be there, unless we are able to still reach all children and keep them fully protected, the risk of relapse is going to remain. So that's something which we simply cannot afford. So it's going to be a continuous struggle from after interruption for another 3 years. So and let's be ready for that, and let's commit that we are going to take.
I think it's very achievable. That's the exciting news, because from what you said, it seems that the incubation period for this virus is not long, which some viruses actually have very long incubation periods, and then you have to keep waiting to see if something else erupts, maybe a new case or something. So that's wonderful that through surveillance we can actually completely eradicate it.
So thank you very much for all the good news. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for showing up and spending
and
time
doing all
with
the
us.
wonderful work that you're doing, and your
all the best
vigilance
for
and your
future
commitment.
endeavors.
Your passion actually shows through. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, once again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that was about polio eradication and polio itself, what kind of disease it was, and then we have shared the contact number. If there are any further details, we are obviously going to give you our Facebook page and Twitter, so you can obviously ask us and inbox. But right now, at this very moment, we got to do something else as well. What's that, Aram? Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm ready to start my weekend.
Right,
No,
you're
we are
ready to-
actually going to talk about the fruit of the day.
Do you
Yes?
remember we still have a recording as well? It's perfectly all right. But it's fruit of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have picked up on?
Lemon.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about their health benefits as well. Lemon is an excellent and rich source of vitamin C as essential nutrient that protects the body against immune system deficiencies. Lemons contain pectin fiber, which is very beneficial for colon health and also serves a powerful antibacterial. It balances to maintain the pH levels in the body. It also a great source of citric acid, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium, and the list goes on. It helps prevent the growth and multiplication of pathogenic bacteria that causes infections and diseases. Oh my God, the list is very long. Okay, I'm going to shorten it up. It is of immense benefit to the skin, and it prevents the formation of wrinkles and acne. Okay, women, good news for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And then lemon juice helps replenish body salts, especially after a strenuous workout session as well.
You
That's
know,
what it is.
Shahzad, I was, a friend of mine is a very, very famous nutritionist, and she really helps to promote information about lemons.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found out is even though it is an acid, it's acidic in nature, if you take lemon regularly, especially early in the morning, it helps the body to go into an alkaline state. And a body that is always in a slight alkaline state cannot have disease. So since we were talking about polio today and it's a virus, the best defense is, of course, the vaccine, but then having a good, strong immune system by having a body that is mostly in an alkaline state is wonderful. So just have,
And
you know,
eating
water
healthy,
mixed with lemon in the
exercising,
morning.
And then, you know, the best part over here in Pakistan is that we do get lemon bars as well. And we could even wash our dishes, and then you get
There you
married
go.
too quick as well. That's what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all about, you know, whatever it was. This is it. You know, enjoy your weekend as well. Look after yourselves, look after all those people who love you, and even those who do not, because, you know, it's always your behavior and their behavior.
Because love is in the air, remember?
Yeah, love is still
Love
in
is
the air. So don't forget to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
World This
Yeah,
Morning.
on Twitter.
World This Morning,
Without
the
a
G.
Yes, and Daily Motion and YouTube.
World This
Well,
Morning,
this morning. The fabulous repeat is going to be at
11:05 p.m.
till the next time. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Thank you.